March, it's every man's whatever they want to do. And it's not that they stay in the grass area, they block the path, 3 and 4 in a pack, block the path, and don't care, and get mean when you tell them to move, and hateful. Then the environment thing. They drop their stuff all over the beach, all over the grass, all over the sidewalk, and some of them don't pick it up. So you got an environment issue, we got to get rid of plastic bags and ride. This is a lot worse than that. The thing of it is, something has to be done about it. I'm disappointed that Mirsak is not here, because he was in this communication, and I never heard from him. I thought perhaps I would hear something like, nothing can be done, we're looking into it. I appreciate you saying you're going to bring it up before it.
I'll certainly raise it with the City Council. What I explained was off-season enforcement really is based on the Rye Police. There's no security in the park off-season, because I think right now your concerns are not in season. Right now you know that...
No, not so much, because they do a great job.
Right, so your concerns are off-season, and I said that we would raise that with the Rye City Council and see if we can address a long-term plan for...
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, first of all, thank you, Commissioner Breton, thank you, Mrs. Guido, for coming. I have to say, at some point in time, I may vote to ban dogs from the park.
Well, they don't want that either.
I'm just saying, but I have to say the wholesale arrogance, and there's only, because I'm glad to hear there's a good thing in the summer, but all they do is disrespect our park employees all summer long.
And also the police department.
Every summer this comes up.
Every year.
And it's wholesale disrespect. And, look, no one wants to come to a situation where we ban dogs from the park, but if Rye City doesn't find a solution, I'm not going to, I'm just tired of every year, good citizens coming here. Did somebody get attacked the other day? I just don't see how a fiduciary of the city of Rye can sit there and watch its citizens attacked.
Okay, so the person who was attacked is this lady's husband.
Okay.
That's the attack that we're referring to. I don't think there have been 2 incidents. It's just the single one.
Okay.
And the city of Rye does not want to see people hurt by dogs. We simply don't want to see people hurt by dogs. What we're trying to do is figure out a way to balance all of the users of the park, and that's really the issue, is how to balance all of the users of the park.
Yeah, but I just want to go on record. Pardon me. I want to go on record as stating very clearly that you haven't found the right balance.
There's
and the balance has been far too differential to the dog owners and far too disrespectful of our park employees. And I just want to go on record as we head into the summer season, because there's not a month that goes by, and it's the second incident, because last time we had a public meeting, a child was attacked. A child was attacked. And I've explained in the past that maybe because my cousin was mauled by a dog, I may be a little bit more sensitive to this issue, but I just don't see how, we dramatically reduced the number of cars coming to the park, in part because of security reasons. And clearly our biggest security risk in the park is the dogs attacking people. And, some people, I know, talking to their friends, don't use the park anymore because of the dogs.
I don't use it anymore. I'm afraid to go there.
Well, I just don't, I just want to go on record.
I don't think that's the right balance either. And I've made it very clear to you what my position is on dogs, which is I think that if we have a law in place and that is enforced by our police department that provides a time and a place for dogs to be there and a time and a place for dogs to be out of the park, that provides that provides a balance of users. But that law needs to be enforced, and it needs to be understood by...
The law is dogs on a leash.
The law is dogs need to be on leash, no question.
So
but
that's the end of it.
Well,
it's not the end of it, because we have a large user group in the park who have been using...
Well, Terry,
you can say that doesn't matter, but we're elected by the people in Rye to serve their interests. So we do have to think about the people who have been using the park for years and using it for their dogs. I don't think they should be well, I think that's wrong. I don't think that they should be disrespectful to park employees. I don't think that they should be disrespectful to the police when they're told to put their dogs on leash. I think absolutely. I think what would help is if there were more clarity around the situation.
But what clarity?
Where would you get
What's the clarity we're looking for?
as I've told you, I think we should have a law that provides dogs off-leash during certain particular hours. And just like Central Park, New York City has managed to balance this. I think that the city of Rye can too. If you have a law that's enforced, then people know where the restrictions are.
So just to understand, because and look, and again, I think you and I are in heated agreement, but this obviously comes up every other meeting, and certainly every summer. And currently, there's no lack of clarity. The dogs need to be on leash at all times. If Rice City, wants to change that, that would be great. And I presume it'll be across all the parks in Rice City, correct?
I would assume so.
Right. Well, maybe what we ought to do, when are your next meetings? I think it might make sense for Mrs. Guido, maybe anybody from the Friends that wants to, and I think maybe we need to go in front of the city council and, just really make the case that this is an issue that's ongoing for this 4 years. And as we head into the summer season, if we've got an acting commissioner, a new commissioner of police, yeah, and I think things improved last year also because we had a Rice City police person running the park.
Right.
But, I think that, would you just talk to your fellow
Sure, I
councilman?
will. Our next city
If you
council
think it would be
meeting is
helpful.
our next city council meeting is May 7th, and that's the meeting that's at the Square House traditionally. So we start at the Square House and then move to the city council chamber for the rest of the meeting. I don't know that it's a great meeting if we're going to have a
Sure.
structured presentation. I just think
Okay.
we may end up holding people up a lot longer because that meeting at the Square House often
Sure.
can take longer
Well,
than it's supposed
maybe
to.
then if you
But
would-
maybe the end of May,
Great.
the meeting on May 20-something.
Wonderful. And if you, in the meantime, could you just talk to your fellow commissioners and the police commissioner, just explain that Mrs. Guido came here tonight.
I
That there's a
absolutely
real
will. And I told
concern.
Mrs. Guido that I would be talking
Yeah.
to the rest of
Terrific.
the
I
council.
think she'll follow up on
Yeah.
it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you for-
But I got to say, I'm just not going to go through another summer where our park staff are disrespected.
I actually felt last summer there was a little more respect. Is that correct? There was no, okay. All right. Well, I felt like we had a little bit of a lull in the tension last summer.
And supposed to leave at 9, didn't leave
Okay.
so that's an ongoing problem.
Okay. All right.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to
appreciate
come here.
that
Thank you,
feedback.
Commissioner Brett.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Yep.
Commissioner Brett for following up on this.
I will.
And they're the ones that are really nice.
Other questions, comments from the public? Please, Linda.
Just two quick things. I'm sorry, we don't have a display easel.
Oh, Bishop, you want to hold that up? Fred, you hold that up? Just hold it up, Fred, you mind?
About doing a park map for the new information center so that people know
Thank you,
where
Fred.
the first aid station is, where park manager is, where the showers are, the bathrooms are, et cetera. And so we're working with a local artist in Rye who's done a preliminary draft, which I can give you a smaller version of.
Thank you.
Just to show you the style.
Thank you. Thank you very
Not
much.
too formal.
Great holder.
That's great.
This will be about the finished size of the map for the Clerk's Building now. That will be under.
Just speak into the microphone.
Protective cover within the new information center. Bearing in mind this is a preliminary draft, there is a laundry list as long as my arm of changes we would like to make, and that's a collective comment by Bishop, Bill Lawyer, Terry, and myself, and a couple of other members of our board. So I'm sorry it's not as comprehensive as it will be ultimately, and rather than give you the laundry list of things, if you want to take a minute to look at it, I can send it to you digitally so you can see it in larger format. If there's anything glaring that you think's been overlooked, let us know. But there will be some shifts in, the buildings. There will be a replacement of some of the icons, that kind of thing. And the map will be truncated a little bit to end more at Rye Beach Avenue. We'll take away that other parking in the north area of the drawing on the top left. But it's basic orientation. It's not meant to be sophisticated and to scale, but just to give people an orientation of what is in the park. So
It's really, I like it. It looks very nice.
And I'd like you to take a look at it so that if there is anything that we've overlooked, I can give you the laundry list. That's probably the better way to do it, so you know we've caught some things that are missing or, that need to be changed. But we'd like to get this done in the information center, close to the start of the park season. So we'd like to keep the momentum moving forward.
Just one question, and maybe you've caught it, or perhaps there's no way to do it, but I just wonder for some of our elderly park users, would it be helpful to designate where there are benches?
I don't know. I mean, you can see them the minute you come into the park, really. I mean, and that can change. In fact, with new benches that are going in,
Right.
there's going to be a little
Okay.
bit of a change in that kind of configuration anyway.
There are a lot of benches. There
Yeah.
really are a lot of
Yeah.
benches. Okay. All right.
But I think we've captured the essence of, what's there. Okay? And the other thing was that we're putting the final touches on the bench replacement program, and I'll talk to Bishop and Bill and Fred, with a final number, and then we've got somebody working on just a quick thumbnail kind of a brochure that we can send out. And if there are any people I'm asking that if any people approach staff or commissioners about the prospect of a bench donation, please direct them to us. And we'd be glad to tell them where we are in the project timeline, and hopefully we can make it fly. I can tell you that our goal is to replace 20 benches. And we'd like to do this in one fell swoop. And in order to do that, we need a commitment early in this year from donors to be able to do economy of purchase and be able to lock in the prices. So,
How
Linda, can you-
successful?
Please go ahead.
How successful have you been at getting donors, and would you like us to?
we don't have the final number yet to say this is what it will take to include a plaque, if you wish
Okay.
to donate towards the bench project. I don't want to have it in the rye patch tomorrow. It's in excess of $2,000. It's in excess of $2,000, but considerably less than the teak benches that have been put in the past. And anyway, we have some, I would say, strong donor potential among people who have contacted us, so we'll see how we can do. The fact that you've deprioritized the benches that Bishop said would be part of the park's contribution may change things for the project, but we're going to do our best.
Sure, and if you need any help publicizing that there are benches available
Right.
for donation, please let us know. I think the City of Rye can certainly help you publicize
Right.
on our websites or at our meetings.
That would
Because
be
I think
great.
you're right, these are things that people very often want to be able to donate if they've lost a loved one who loved the park.
Or just a neighborhood who
Right.
likes to
Right.
use the park, have
Exactly.
each family donate money towards a bench, something
Yep.
like that. And the thing of it is that in the campaign announcement, any donations that people would like to make, we're happy to channel towards that project, so that if we don't get singular donations in the correct amount for the full amount of a bench, we'll put it towards as many benches as we can.
Share a bench.
So, share a bench.
Share a bench.
Absolutely.
Plenty of room on the bench.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll keep you posted, and yeah, I'd like to work with Bill and get an article in the Rye Record.
Absolutely.
And publish in all the local papers now, and then on Rye Patch and places like that. So we'll try to get as much exposure as we can, and we'll have things on our own website as well.
You may find it's remarkably easy. Do you remember those Walk Rye history signs? It was remarkably easy to find sponsors for them. So, so you may have a really,
I hope
good
so.
luck.
I hope we have to turn people away. It'd be great.
That'd be great.
We'll put the money towards the trees.
Toward trees.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you for the Friends and for your work.
You got number 6, the people are here.
Good.
Just want to say that the Friends of Rye Town Park certainly are a big boost to the park. We really appreciate the work that they do. And two of the things that I've been involved with since I came to the park were the idea of having a locator map, because any park, amusement park, whether it's Disney World or the Bronx Zoo or even Bryant Park, they all have locator maps, and it's a way that you can put on your website. You can have it printed in various formats. And it just says to the public, we want you to feel comfortable when you come to the park. Here's where we are. This is what we have. And I think, the fact that for 160 2 years of the park's existence, there was no locator map. This is the first time that there's ever been one, so, or that there will be one. So I think this is a big step in the right direction. And certainly, I just got a call today from a woman who wants to donate a bench in her. I think I forwarded it to you. So they're floating around, and I know I watch or go to the city council meetings, and I do think that would be a great place to make a little plug for the idea of it, because I think many people in Rye, I hear the stories all the time when I'm at the park. People tell me about how their grandparents used to bring them there from way back in the 50s or the 40s, and it has a real warm spot in many people's hearts. So this is giving them the opportunity to pass the park on to future generations. So keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the hard work, friends. Okay, the South Shore Youth Foundation is in the house. Oh, any other comments from the public? Okay, South Shore Youth Foundation.
You can introduce yourselves and where you come from.
My name is Angel Rosado. I'm the president of South Shore Youth Foundation. I want to thank you guys for allowing us to use the beach again this year. And this is Joe Pecora. He's the vice president. He resides in Rye. I live in Portchester. We've been running the league since 2008, and I've personally been involved in the league since 1993. What we do is run a youth football program from ages 5 to 12.
And cheerleading.
And cheerleading. For the kids in Rybrook, Portchester, Rye, and Rye Neck. We don't have really a boundary. We've had some kids, kind of float in from White Plains here and there. But the majority of the kids, and they're pretty split evenly. We have a third from every,
almost a third
from every,
of
from every area. So we primarily just have this as it's a fall season. We give the kids the uniforms, the equipment, the fields, and the games. We also offer a ton of scholarships to the majority of the kids from Portchester, something like 35, 40 scholarships for kids. And we use the volleyball program, which was started for a different reasoning years ago, and we have kind of used it as a fundraiser for our program. So whatever money we make from that, we use it to buy new equipment, new uniforms, pay the referees.
We're totally not-for-profit. None of us are paid.
Right, we're all volunteers. Nobody on the board, and none of the officers on the board get paid.
And we pay refs and things like that, but nobody that's running the league.
Right. Most of the people that are working with the kids are strictly volunteers, dads, and just some of the kids. Got a couple of kids who actually come back who played in the league 15 years ago, and they're coming back to coach. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, we just cater to youths and playing football and playing flag football and cheerleading, and the volleyball program, which primarily is run by Joe and I, is a fundraiser for us. It's a lot of work for us, but it does help us with getting our equipment and paying the bills that to everyday running football.
Beautiful. And what did we finally decide on the volleyball?
We kept the rate the same. I think it was $20 per player per season. Last year, I think we were around $7,000 that we collected in fees. And I think that was based on about 300 me I'm wrong, 390 people? It was 300 plus players.
Well, you guys should be very proud of the work you're doing. I'm glad to hear that this activity serves as a source of funds for your youth shore education. And I'm glad we decided to keep the rate at the same level this year.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, we do.
We're a Rye Town organization.
Yep.
I mean, you can't get a better fit.
No.
Here we are. We service almost a third from Rye, third from Rybrook, and Portchester.
Do you guys have a website?
Yeah, we do. It's Rye Town Youth Football and Cheerleading.
Okay, perfect.
We're also known as the South Shore Youth Foundation, but
Right. Excellent. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking time to come here. tell us
Thank
what you're doing and make a presentation. And, I know the commission supports me in saying that we'd like to use the park to support this kind of activity.
And to get residents in the park, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
get residents in the park,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't know what we would do if we didn't do it. I think it's become such a popular program for the adults, and
I'm very jealous. It's a hugely successful program.
That's great.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so
for
much
coming.
for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'd like to add that this is a fairly sophisticated program, attracts a good number of people, have never given us a problem. People go in, play, and leave, in and out.
That's what I like to hear.
And these guys really put together a real
Well,
good
make sure we have, do we have their contact details?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, thanks for coming. I appreciate it, really
Yeah.
do. Before you sit down, might as well, let's get the,
Management report?
what?
I read the report. It's pretty
Yeah,
much
I was
what we
going to
talked
say, I
about.
think the manager report, basically, I think we've all read it, and we're getting late into the evening. I think, basically, I just want to know, thumbs up, thumbs down, things are going well?
Yeah. I just would like to address the dog situation
Okay.
with Commissioner Brett. In all due respect, and I understand how difficult this problem is. We've sat down with the police chief in the past, our security guy, our chief of security, police. We've had a number of incidents where people abuse our employees. We've even gotten it on tape where some guy was using the F word back and forth. Who are you? You don't know what you're doing, yada, yada, yada. We have signs at every entrance to the park that say dogs must be on leash at all times. Now, they just don't adhere to it. Now, our guys approach them in a very sensitive manner, and please put your dog on a leash. As soon as they pull away, dogs are off the leash. Before 9 o'clock, there's a ton of them, and a good quarter of those stay past 9 o'clock, and then our guys have to go out and see individually. One of the solutions that I recommended was that if summonses can be given 3-4 days in a row, where not all the people, there's just a handful of people that don't abide. Most of the dog walkers are compliant, and they're good people. And they're just as afraid of the ones off the leash as the people that don't have dogs. If they could serve summonses and that the courts make them pay the fee, the word will get out that those dogs must be on leash. And I believe that will go a long way to solving the long-term problem. And we've been working on this for 6 years now.
Maybe if I could interject, I think also, I didn't know you could do that, but I think, look, no one's out there to get anybody. So if the Rye City passes a law that says, okay, dogs can be off leash till 8:30, 8 o'clock, whatever the time is, or even 9 o'clock, makes their job easier, then you have a clear rule. So maybe we can just reinvigorate our effort this year to try and I agree with you. I think last year it sounded like it was a little better, but if I think one incident is too many, I think we still continue to have incidents. So if we can do that, we'll work.
I agree that one incident is too many. I completely agree with you.
Last
that
year
one
was a
incident is
lot
too many.
better than the years prior.
Right.
So hopefully this
So
year we
build on
can
the
get a
momentum.
handle on it.
So I appreciate hearing your perspective on it. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, and as you understand, this is a pretty sensitive issue in
I know.
Rye. And the reports that we hear back it suggests to us that a softer touch from the police is actually going to have a better...
Security. Oh,
Yeah,
you mean
Rye
Rye PD?
I mean from the Rye PD.
Yeah.
So, what we hear from our constituents is that, they shouldn't be issuing summonses unless they've given you a warning and asked you to put your dog back on a leash.
And I would agree with that.
And I agree with that, too. So Rye is a very friendly town. People who live in Rye think they live in Mayberry, so they expect that sort of friendly approach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very apologetic if they're rude to the staff, because they should never be rude to the staff. There's no
I don't
question.
say those are Rye people, because there's quite a few people come from out of town.
Sure, I
I see the
understand
cars.
But I think we need to find a solution to this problem that will work in the long term, because we've patched it every summer, I feel like, and it's gotten
Yeah.
slightly better, but we need to get to a point where...
And my security chief has 2 dogs of his own, so he's a dog lover.
Right.
And he understands the dog owners, so, and we treat everyone very sensitively, as best we can. So I think we could get a little better handle on it this year
I actually got
by
a good
working
report.
together.
I did get a good report on whoever has been policing it at 9 a.m.
That's the
recently.
security guy,
Right.
the head security. He's the only, he's there, and then we have one during the day and one at night. Pretty much so.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. But
All right.
just, we're off to a good start, I hope, in the park this year?
Yeah, we're off to a good start. We've done quite a bit already.
I don't need, yeah, we got the details in the report.
Yep.
Thumbs up.
New sand is on its way.
There you go. That's what I like to hear.
That's great.
Terrific. Thanks, Fred. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Terry. Correspondence, I think we have it all in our packet for you to see. The request for handicapped disabled veterans, I'd like to take that up at next meeting if we could. We're getting late, unless there's an objection. I'd like to postpone that to the next meeting and see if there's any, but if people want to take it up tonight, we can. I just
Sure.
assume.
Yep, no, that's fine.
Okay. And then just open it up for other points from the commissioners.
I sent an email, I don't know if you all got
Oh,
it,
sorry.
back a couple weeks ago. Did you get it, Bishop? I sent an email with, after we had a conversation with the Playland Advisory Committee, the Rye Playland Advisory Committee. I sent it to all the commissioners.
So I apologize. Well, anyway, just
It
go
was
ahead.
back beginning of April, and raised a couple of questions.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, it's all right. You're all drawing a
I may
blank.
have missed that one.
I sent it on April 10th.
Okay.
So anyway, the couple issues that I wanted to raise was that the Playland Advisory Committee has wanted to remind us that we now, we're due for a community conversation. We do this every
good.
year generally.
Yep.
And we have a couple of dates that they
Great.
put forth on 2 Saturdays. They felt like the year that we did it at the park, it was a little more successful, got more attendance.
Good.
So they want, and specifically this year, they feel like we may have an RFP that we're looking at, and it would be a great opportunity to kind
Perfect.
of bring
What are the dates?
residents are in the loop.
5:31 or 6:07?
Yep, 5:30. Thank you, Benny, you got my email.
Benny got it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Should we try and do the warmer date?
Yeah.
6, 7, or is that too late or not?
6-7
fine.
is going to be a problem because, A, I will not be here, and to help facilitate that meeting, because my daughter's getting married, so...
No, that's a terrible date then for a
for me, it's
community
a terrible
conversation.
date.
Yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
where are your priorities, Bishop?
I would love to spend a Saturday morning at the
I
beach.
just wanted, so Memorial Day is the 26th?
Yes, so
All right, so the 31st is
31st is after Memorial Day.
Okay, 31st we can
Good.
arrange.
Okay, all right,
And what time are
perfect.
we talking?
9 a.m., I think we've done it in the
9
past.
a.m.?
Yep, 9
That's
a.m.
fine with
Is
me.
that all right? We can
Yep.
make it 10 if you think that's easier.
Whatever.
I think 10 would be a better time.
Check our calendar, yeah, please do check.
May 31.
May 31st?
Okay, and we
Say
can-
at 10 a.m.?
Right, 10 to 12. I would put a stop time on it as well.
Okay, okay.
There's a 12 o'clock meeting, they'd have to be out by...
No, it's a 10 o'clock meeting.
I know, but you'd have to be out by
Well, let's see what the schedule looks like. Circulate some times.
No, yeah, all right.
We
Well,
could do it at 9, yeah.
Tomorrow she'll let you know if that's clear.
Absolutely, and
all
we
right,
can
so
talk
it'll
about the
either be
times.
9 o'clock, 10 o'clock if there's no parties, 9 o'clock if there's parties?
And just operationally, they had asked whether or not our computer connections were up and running for the season. Do we know?
Yes?
All that, the work that we did to wire everything is all set and ready to go? We're going to have...
Well, not really.
No?
I got an update this evening.
Oh, you did?
Well, I spoke to
Okay.
Mrs. Finelli.
We're not up and ready?
I'll see you.
Apparently that there's some tweaking that needs to be done.
Okay. So does that mean that we're not going to be ready to accept credit cards, or we don't know yet? Okay, all right. Okay, so that was the update. The feedback from the advisory committee was that security worked well. That was the feedback that we all heard earlier today, too, that the security guard that we had last year, who was a Rye Police Department member, worked well. Is that the plan that's in place for this year? Okay, all right, that's great.
Excellent.
That's
Excellent.
great. I guess we needed an update on garbage
Yes.
disposal.
This is on the old business, I guess?
Well, I guess so. This was on my list of things that were the
Garbage.
Playland Advisory Committee was asking. So if we could,
I did-
is
yeah.
there an update on garbage?
Well,
Ben?
I sent, I know Matt Cunningham sent me the same question, what's the update on
Right.
garbage? I haven't heard anything back from Johnny Ambrose. I think the commission needs to send him a very stern letter, letting him know of his obligations. I think we need to get those prices, Bishop, on
Yep.
at least the 6 containers.
I did speak with Mr. Coyne from the Rye DPW. I did speak with Mayor Pagano, who is attempting to put together a meeting with his DPW, the Rye DPW, and I told him that I'd be more than happy to sit in on that. Collectively talk about the management structure for the collection of these new containers and what staff can do to accelerate the disposal of material. In conjunction with that is the need to have Seaside Johnny recycle. There's a high volume of recyclables that are going into the waste stream. I'd be happy to have the county come down and give them a little education on what needs to be done. They'd be more than happy to do that. But the fact that Mr. Ambrose has not gotten back to me as he promised, I don't take it personally. It is what it is. I think sometimes people think that the problem will go away if nobody answers the question. But I think we need to, as a commission, maybe, Bishop, you could draft a letter upon consensus of the last meeting that the commission will remove, dispose of their containers that we have there now, and we're going to press forward with the purchase of, start 6 containers for the Wright Town Park, and then he should get whatever containers he needs for his disposal. And then we were going to encourage a conversation between the 2 municipalities for daily pickup, as well as the opportunity for staff, be it the seasonal workers that are there with the Wright Town pickup truck, bring the seaweed to the recycling yard to maybe assist with the garbage removal if it does get heavy, because it's a short ride from Wright Town Park to the 2 facilities. So not to get into the details and not to micromanage the operation, but I want to brainstorm an opportunity for a new management direction on how we handle the garbage. So while there's no update physically, there has been, Mayor Pagano and I have discussed it. He's wholeheartedly supporting the operational change. Just a matter of getting staff together to do that. I think we committed to buy those 6 containers last meeting. We just need to price it out and get.
Yeah, we're in the process of pricing it out.
So there is a change. We do have to get rid of those 2 containers.
Right. I spoke with Rocky Morbido in Portchester, and he's favoring us moving to slightly larger containers.
Okay.
And perhaps having less, but he is fully aware of it, and we also discussed changing the route of the truck so that the truck now runs on Midland Avenue instead of Forest Avenue. It'll come to Playland Parkway and then on to Forest, which bypasses a lot of Forest Avenue, which is part of the problem today.
But it may just be moving the problem, right? I mean, we may then get
complaints. Right, you may. I don't know.
So I guess my question is, are we going to be moving to a size container that Rye can pick up, since they're in the neighborhood anyway?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
We would make absolutely certain that the container is compatible with both municipalities.
Right. Okay. All right. So that's all. As I said, I know that our DPWs our DPWs down there in that neighborhood on a daily basis.
Yeah, and their facilities are open on Saturdays too.
That's right.
Which makes it easy for us with the early morning shift that comes in for whatever it be security or whether it be parking. They jump in a pickup truck. If there's anything remnants from the night before, this way the weekend starts clean. And there's ways of doing it.
Yeah.
We need that. 6:30 they're in.
Yeah, so it's easy. Okay. And if we manage the recyclables, I'm really convinced that if we put that effort with Seaside Johnny's full cooperation, nothing less than full cooperation, we'll see a dramatic increase to the benefit of going to this new process.
I'm wondering if the letter shouldn't come from you or from the board.
It should come from the board.
I'll put a draft together and I'll circulate it to the board.
It should come from the commission.
That's what I'm saying. So
the highlight to that letter is the part of his commitment in the agreement.
Right.
That we have gotten our counsel to tell us that he does have the obligation to provide containers as approved by the commission.
Right.
He's never provided any containers, so as far as my personal feeling is that he has not kept up to his end of the bargain for the last number of years that he's been in business.
Right.
And we should not, this commission should not supplement.
No, so my only point is that if I send it, he's going to call me, I'm not going to know. I'm saying, if you can send it on behalf of the commission.
On behalf of the commission.
You send on behalf of the commission. You draft it if you would, Bishop.
Okay.
So you don't want the phone call from...
Well, I know what phone call I'm going to get.
He's going to call you anyway because he's not returning my call.
I know, and he's going to go, I'm joking,
No, I hear you.
but I think that
That's perfectly fine.
the problem, I'm not going to have, I don't have the...
No problem.
knowledge.
Am I going to be a paid consultant when the phone call comes?
I tell you, put that out, put that
You'll
in
get
the
paid
budget.
all, what we're all up here, what all of us are
We get
paid.
paid weekly.
Yeah.
Budget.
We get paid weekly, right? Very weekly.
Yeah,
But that's the update.
we'll double your salary. How's that?
Yeah, double.
Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Brett, other-
And I
Yep.
still have
Yep.
more, I'm sorry.
Sure, yep.
So ask your question, are we going to pull the container, I mean, if they get the new containers, we pull the container they have? Is that our container?
We would sell the 2 containers that are there now. They're essentially scrap. They're so
Right.
so deteriorated, they have no value really other than scrap.
So if we pulled those, wouldn't they have to get containers if they want to throw out their garbage?
That's the,
Yes.
they're just giving him, he's got the verbal heads up, he's gotten the verbal, I wouldn't say warning, but understanding. He'll get the written one, and then obviously when he has garbage, I don't know what he does with the garbage from the county, from Playland. Maybe he'll bring the garbage to the Tiki Hut. I don't know what he'll do. Maybe we'll get the garbage from the Tiki Hut. I don't know.
It'll be the county's problem then,
Yeah,
right?
so it's a
We don't
forced
want it.
issue at this point in time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it becomes a forced issue because we're ready to operate. The
Right.
business is ready to operate.
Good.
I guess I don't know if this is for Fred or Bishop, but the Right Town Park Advisory Committee would just like to know if the park keeps safety records, and if you do, if they can review them.
I'll take this one because I contacted Police Commissioner Falk. I've asked him for a 3-year report
Okay.
on all police activity within Rytown Park.
Okay,
He has promised me that within the next roughly 5 to 10 days, he will
Okay.
have it for us.
perfect, thank you.
He's actually assigned it to a particular
Okay.
officer.
And then the final thing I have, actually, is that the advisory committee reminded us that when we lost Christina Beecher on the RFP committee, we lost sort of a strong neighborhood advocate on the RFP committee, and asked if they could designate someone from the advisory committee to the RFP committee. I know we replaced Christina's presidency or chairmanship of the RFP committee.
Yeah.
But we never replaced her
Sure.
person.
Sure.
So I'll ask Jeannie if she can put
I
forward
mean,
a candidate.
just to be clear, so we're waiting for these bids tomorrow.
Right.
And then, so, yeah, sure. Do you have somebody in mind?
She did have somebody in mind, and she was here earlier, and I was hoping that she could give me that name, but she must have left after the
Okay.
comments from the public, so.
Okay.
But she does have someone, I'll pass
Sure.
it
Yeah,
along.
I mean, look.
And maybe they can participate on an advisory basis until we officially nominate them.
Wonderful.
Okay.
What do you, Commissioner Salanitro?
That's excellent.
Perfect. No, they've done
Okay.
terrific work so
All
far.
right, all right, terrific.
And we
That's it.
wish Ms. Beecher well. She's in Greenwich now, is that what's
She's in Greenwich now.
Good
yeah,
for her.
Yeah.
Excellent. She did terrific work. I want to thank her for that. Okay, Mr. Slack, how'd you like your first Rytown Park Commission meeting, huh?
You run a good meeting.
That's very kind of you. And we'll miss Mayor Sack, but, you're welcome here always.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Salanitro, please.
We're on the old business or new business? Where are we?
Go, you're right over whichever
Whatever
one.
you want.
Commissioner comments.
It's over to you.
I sent an email out to the commission that I spoken to a local surveyor about doing the beach sand survey, so we have something in case we have another loss of sand. Fred?
Yep,
You got that? There's a local surveyor who's willing to do the beach sand survey after you do the sand.
It's a little more expensive.
it's just a few $1,000s, right?
2,000.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yes, it
Yeah.
was a very reasonable amount compared to what Playland spent.
So are we,
So we're telling them to add another 6 inches.
The beach will be graded first week of May.
Right.
3 days later, the sand will be delivered,
Right.
approximately 4 inches, all the way to Seaside Johnny's.
Okay.
And that's where
Right.
most of the rocks are.
14 trailer loads.
From the wall to the
Do you
Seaside.
anticipate that we're going to need, the reason why I said I don't want the surveyor out twice, if we do agree to have the survey done, do you anticipate more sand is going to be needed, like next year?
Only if there's nor'easters,
Okay.
that drag the new
No,
sand out.
So we should have a survey done then?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're going to have a
Which
survey.
can be updated.
Yeah.
That's a very
That's for
cheap
FEMA.
number, and for example, that is what protects us with FEMA.
Right.
With FEMA.
In the event that there's another incident, FEMA has already told us we will not get any, let's say, allowance for
Any
sand
revenue.
unless we have an engineering plan
Right.
laying it
So you
out.
got a $2,000 insurance policy for a $17,000 investment.
Sure.
It takes you into the future.
Yeah, till next year.
it's a
Which I
great
think is a
idea.
good-
Yeah.
It's a wonderful idea.
So maybe
Do
the
you have-
next month's agenda can include that, or
Proposal?
just,
Have George put the proposal together?
yep,
Yes, please.
yeah.
What's that?
I'll get a proposal in writing so that the board can
Yeah,
vote
okay.
on
So
it.
we
Fine.
Yeah,
Right.
excellent. How about any more old or new business?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for
Thank you
asking.
your hard work. Thank you for the hard work. Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Thank you for the hard work. Make a motion to bring the meeting to a close.
So moved.
In a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Thanks.
Thank you. It's good.
Good night to all.